Hello everyone, this is lecture 3 of module 1 in a series of lectures that I will be delivering to cover the software project management course at the Department of Software Engineering, Faculty of Computer and Information Technology, Jordan University of Science and Technology. This lecture will be introducing the project management phases groups. Now, each of the 5 phases has its own group of processes. For example, the initiation phase has the initiation phase processes, or we refer to it as initiation group of processes. Same with the planning phase, we have the planning group of processes or planning phase processes. The execution phase processes, then monitoring and control phase processes, and same with the closure phase processes. Initiation phase processes. We have part of them related to the customer. The customer initiation processes. Initiation process number 1, the initialization process. Initialization process, as we explained in the previous lecture, things start with an idea that comes from one of the employees or the managers to come up with a new system or to upgrade an existing system. We refer to that as the initiation process. Initialization process. That idea initialized by the employee or the manager at that department would be discussed thoroughly by their superiors, and it might be accepted, endorsed, or it might be just simply ignored. Now, the superiors would be a committee of experts who would discuss that idea from all aspects and decide whether it's worth going with or it's not worth it. If the idea is worth, then that committee of experts at the customer side would conduct a detailed study about it to define the requirements, the terms of conditions, the scope of work, etc., etc. And then put all that into, or compile all that into a document that we call a request for a proposal, or in short, RFP. That RFP would be announced in the process number 4, RFP announcement. The announcement of the RFP means to spread awareness, as in a process 5, among potential service providers. Now, at this stage, the service providers are aware of the project opportunity. Then they would go for or go with the process number 6, the RFP acquirement. So to get copies of the RFP from the customer. Then the service provider would review that RFP carefully to produce the, let's say, project charter. And along with the review, a SWOT analysis would be conducted as well, as in a process number 8. Based on the review and the SWOT analysis, a charter would be prepared by the service provider team. As we explained earlier, the project charter is very much an executive summary of the project opportunity, where it shows a high-level definition of the requirements, the scope of work, the objectives of the project, a high-level work breakdown structure, the preliminary list of deliverables and milestones, and some approximations for the schedule, the resources, the cost, etc., etc. In the process number 10, the project charter presentation and discussion. So they would go through this process to present and demonstrate the project opportunity to their upper management at the service provider side. And the service provider side would, the upper management would make a decision whether yes or no to proceed or not. And that's what we refer to as a process number 11, yes/no decision. Now, the planning phase processes at the service provider side, the processes start with the requirement derivations. We derive the requirements from the RFP document. Then from those requirements, we define the business and system or technical specification for the project, or we derive them straight from the RFP if they are available there. Then the service provider would derive a high-level design of the proposed solution. Then, based on the requirements, the design, the specification, a core action plan would be developed by the service provider, which incorporates a work breakdown structure, a schedule, a task dependencies, resource allocations, and deliverables and milestones. Process 5. We need now to come up with a complete project action plan, the core plus the processes, the other processes, including the quality assurance and control process, the risk management process, team building management process, change management process, financial management process, correspondence management process, etc., etc. Process number 6, the proposal derivation. Based on the complete project action plan, the service provider would derive a proposal. And that proposal comes in two folds. The technical proposal, which shows the solution, the proposed solution based on the derived requirements from the RFP, and the pricing or the costing for the project, which we refer to as the financial fold of the proposal. And last but not least, the proposal would be submitted. We are still in the planning phase. The customer in process number 8 would assess and evaluate and shortlist the received proposals. Let's say they received 20 proposals, they would shortlist the best 5 after assessing and evaluating all the 20 proposals received from different service providers. The shortlisted ones would be invited to deliver presentations and discuss their proposals, negotiate them with the customer. And that would come in process number 9. In process number 10, the selected service provider out of process number 9 would be sent or issued a letter of awarding indicating or inviting that service provider to come and start negotiating a contract, as in process number 11. Once the contract is finalized, then the contract would be signed, as in process number 12. The execution phase of processes now. Kickoff meeting process number 1, process number 2, logistical arrangements, process number 3, team building, mobilizing, and management. Process number 4, procurement and subcontracting. Process number 5, correspondence management. Process number 6, contract management, both technical and financial. Number 7, task execution and carry on by the project team members, managed by or coordinated by the project manager. And process number 8, change management. Process number 9, quality assurance, which is the same as the monitoring control process number 1. And process number 10, risk management. And the additional processes, like I refer to them as EX processes number 10 to N, this includes all other processes that might be needed for the project. Now, let's go back to them one by one. The kickoff meeting It's all about bringing all involved parties together in a meeting to announce the start of the project and to discuss any issues that were not discussed earlier. Logistical arrangements like offices, transportation, etc., etc. It has to be arranged for by the project manager. Also, the infrastructure has to be arranged for. Team building, mobilization, and management means finalize your team, make sure that your team are all around you as a project manager to be able to start the project. Procurement, buy any needed equipment, servers, etc., software licenses, and subcontracting. If in your plan you are going to subcontract or outsource part of your work, then it is now time to finalize the agreements with the subcontractors. Correspondence management, to control the correspondence among the team, horizontally and vertically. Contract management, you need to execute your project. In other words, execute your contract. So everything agreed upon in the contract must be taken care and executed during the execution phase of the project management. Tasks execution and carry on. As I explained earlier, it's about executing the work breakdown structure. Each task should be carried on per the start date and the end date by the assigned resource. Change management, if any change to be introduced to the project, whether in the requirements, whether in the cost, whether in the schedule, etc., has to be discussed and taken care of per a process called change management, which I refer to as process number 8. The quality assurance, throughout the execution phase, you need to double check things, and that's what we refer to as well as the monitoring and control process number 1, which is named monitoring. Risk management, like handling the risks, whether they are of severe impact, moderate impact, or minimal impact. There should be a process to take care of any risk that may arise during the execution. And all other processes like financial management process, etc., should be included or added to the list here. Now, monitoring and control phase of processes. First one is the monitoring process, number 1, for assessing the ongoing project activities, which is monitoring and quality assurance, and same as the execution process number 9, quality assurance. Process number 2 in the monitoring control phase is the production operation factors testing for correctness, reliability, efficiency, integrity, and usability. Process number 3 in the monitoring control phase, it has to do with the product revision factors testing, like maintainability, testability, and flexibility. The monitoring control process number 4 has to do with the product transition factors testing, portability, reusability, and interoperability. Monitoring control process number 5 has to do with the monitoring the project variables such as the cost, effort, scope, schedule, resources versus the project plan and performance baseline. Process number 6 in the monitoring and control phase, it has to do with identifying corrective actions for counterparting the issues and risks. There should be a process based on which you create the corrective actions and then you implement them to eliminate issues, risks, etc., etc. Process number 7, it has to do with managing the changes where only approved changes can be implemented. The closure phase processes. The first process has to do with preparing the checklist, then delivering the deliverables or handing over the deliverables to the customer, and as in the process 2. In the closure process number 3, you need to train the customers users. And closure process number 4, you have to manage the warranty period. And closure process number 5, you have to settle the financial aspect of the project with the customer. And the closure process number 6, you have to sign off the project because everything is fine. And basically that's all for lecture 3. I'll be looking forward to meeting with you at lecture 4 of this module. Thank you.